Hello everyone. I'm pretty sure I played Chapter 8 of Conquest at least twice as much as any other map. In part, that's because it has interesting objectives, and it's the first map that plays very differently depending on how you use the first heart seal, which I have spent on Elise. But the main reason is that a few years ago, Josh CJA from the Serenus Forest forums was arguing in favor of Odin. He claimed that Odin could reach level 7 or 8 really quickly in his join chapter, and I didn't believe him. I took that as a challenge, and in the end, I did find my own ways to make that happen. I came up with a strategy that gets Odin 1 level at LTC pace, and I made another where I took 2 extra turns to make him reach level 7. Each of those eventually got featured in videos on my channel. But for a long time, I've been sitting on a third strategy, one that brings Odin all the way to level 8 by routing this map in 10 turns. I thought it was very cool, and it was great because it wasn't just Odin who was profiting from it. Everyone got a ton of XP, and I was able to optimize support points too. However, I was never quite satisfied with it. There were 2 main reasons for that. The biggest was that for my strategy to work properly, Odin absolutely had to gain both magic and speed on his first level. That happened less than a quarter of the time. And beyond that, there were multiple places where random enemy movement could mess things up. When you combine those 2 factors, with a need to use axes and bows against mages, the actual chances of success were terribly small. I would still go for it on a lot of my runs, just because the results were so awesome, but that usually meant resetting repeatedly for about an hour until everything worked out. A few months ago, I decided I wanted to fix that. And it's a good thing, too, because Odin definitely isn't gaining any magic or speed here in the no-growth zone. In my opinion, 0% growth conditions are not an appropriate way to judge units, but they're very good at teaching you, the player, how to make the most of all your resources. As they say, necessity is the mother of invention. And this invention is, I think, the most beautiful thing I've ever made for this channel. Enjoy.
Careful out there!
We're following the usual plan of rushing west, using Elise and Silas to transport people in that direction as fast as possible. Effie will be left behind at the first village, but we can use pair-up shenanigans to help her catch up instantly.
Everything will be fine. The darkness whispers. I am Odin Dark!
Before joining Odin, Niles can take items from Silas, but we couldn't afford a bronze bow, and with this strategy, we no longer have to pass any tonics to Odin. If we did, Odin would be able to use one now.
Careful out there!
Silas vacated a space between Arthur and Elise, allowing both Effie and Felicia to pair up with them.
We can do this together.
Odin's going to be protected by both Felicia's Demoiselle and Elise's Lily's Poise. Without Felicia, you could still mostly replicate these moves by bringing a resistance tonic for Odin, although he would also need to hit his HP and defense growths in pretty short order, and Silas, Arthur, and Niles would have to use extra healing items. Elise is going to attack the Dark Mage who has fire, and not the one who has Fimbulfetter. That's going to optimize her accuracy overall. She gets a hit boost when she's leading a tag team, but not when she's supporting, and Fimbulfetter carries an evasion penalty that is most beneficial on her dual strike. 82% listed hit followed by 77 is slightly more reliable than 87 and 72.
I won't let you down! Let's make this fun.
It'll be fine.
Effie body blocks here to prevent the fighters from reaching
I'll
Odin.
be your shield.
I believe.
Typically, Silas would go to Flora's west side and drop Corrin to the south. Flora would attack Corrin because he wouldn't be able to counterattack, and then a fighter would hit Corrin from the east to drop him into Vow of Friendship range. But Corrin is a little too weak for that to work. He only has 19 HP and 12 defense, and the combination of Flora's attack, the fighter's attack, and Flora's dual strike would kill him even with an HP tonic. Instead, we can have Silas take the hits. With the C-rank Corrin support and tonics, he'll survive. This will make things slightly more awkward later on. We'll have to set up Vow of Friendship another way. Note that without his defense tonic, Corrin would have been so weak that Flora would have attacked him even when he could counter her. That tonic is not required though. Instead of putting Corrin right next to Flora, you can drop him west of Silas's current position. But then Silas can be attacked from the north. If that happens, you can adjust, but Elise may miss out on a couple rounds of combat. I could only afford Corrin's defense tonic because I was able to preserve the HP tonic from Chapter 5. Elise finally uses the strength tonic she's been carrying. By holding onto it for a bit, she allowed Odin to score an extra dual strike kill.
I'll handle this miscreant! What?
There's a mage approaching from the east who will be able to attack Niles here. The biggest difficulty I had with my old strategy on this map was that I used to put Odin in Niles' position. Odin needed to one-round that mage, a feat for which he required 1 extra magic and 3 extra speed. I had tunnel vision on the goal of maximizing Odin's experience, since that was my original challenge. But Niles gets the job done at base. Elise's dual strike makes up for the steel dagger debuff. Up north, we want to lure away the mage and then the fighter. That'll make it easier to deal with the reinforcements from the last village.
Such are the whims of fate!
Strength is everything!
Odin's dual strike is more reliable, but I prefer for Elise to use Effie's support here. Elise wants to collect support points with Effie wherever she can, and this is a situation where the lance experience that Silas missed in Chapter 7 really hurts. If he already had D lances, Effie could take his bronze lance for better accuracy. Technically, Elise didn't have to use Effie's dual strike here to meet her support goals, but the additional experience can eventually help Effie hit some nice milestones.
On guard!
Corrin moves ahead to pull the fighter. He has to use a
Here to
vulnerability.
help.
One large adjustment I've made to my early game support routing is that I'm no longer pursuing the Arthur FEB support on this map. The biggest difference between fast supports and normal ones is that fast supports can go from C to B in a single battle. So if I don't get their B support here, I'm giving up the chance to unlock a super early Percy, but I've decided that I prefer to make extra progress on the Arthur Niles support anyway. Corrin has done his job against this fighter, and it's time for him to run away. Silas will need the vulnerary later.
We can do this together.
Corrin and Silas will split up to prepare for next turn.
We have no choice.
Corrin will defeat the Lancer to the left on enemy phase, and he'll be able to support Elise against the wounded Dark Mage. In many cases, Lily's poise will actually boost Corrin's defense beyond the Lancer's attack power. So in a normal run, you would usually put Silas where Corrin is and drop Corrin to the left. I've mentioned that my old strategy struggled with random enemy movement. The group that comes out of the northern village includes several mages, and I always tried to pull one of them away from Elise and Odin by putting Arthur southeast of the big ice sculpture. Only one mage can reach that tile, but the problem was that there were 2 mages who could move down to provide dual strikes, one from the north and another from the east. I needed to pull the one from the north, but I couldn't be sure that would happen. The solution is to give the eastern mage a target of his own in Niles. Niles kills that guy on the counterattack, assuming that Arthur hits, and that ensures that the other mage will also come down. Thanks to Felicia's healing and her damage reduction on previous turns, Arthur and Niles will both survive. Note that if Arthur happened to miss his dual strike on the previous turn, Effie could clear that mage out of the way. This is the second situation where I used to rely on Odin hitting his growths to one-round a mage, but now I have enough units on hand to kill that guy and the rest of his squad on player phase. Up to this point, if anything had gone wrong, we would generally have been able to slow down and heal up as needed. But now we're going to commit, and we can't afford to miss. This fighter will survive for now. He hit Silas for 8 damage when Silas is holding a sword, but that's reduced to 4 when Corrin is adjacent and Felicia is nearby. So Silas is free to attack the 31 HP fighter, whom he and Corrin kill exactly. The scariest move is this one. Elise has to fly around and defeat this Thunder Mage by herself. Felicia chips the healthy fighter. She can use either dual strike, but I prefer to train Elise. Odin moves up and uses Elise's dual strike for the kill. He's in range of the Lancer, and Elise will be attacked by the wounded fighter. Both of them will barely survive.
We can do this together!
One of those experience milestones I said Effie likes to hit is right here. Having leveled up twice, she has very good chances to hit strength growths that may allow Arthur or Niles or Effie herself to secure these next kills with bronze weapons, which they often have when I'm playing under normal conditions.
Well, you have my support!
We're pretty much out of the woods now.
Huh?
The next objective is to lure the last 2 fighters, and although we're not trying to unlock any B supports between Arthur, Effie, and Elise, we still want to make as much progress as we possibly can. The best way we can do that is to get Elise into a round of combat with Effie supporting and Arthur adjacent. But Elise and Odin both need to heal too, so Elise must acquire Odin's Vulnerary. He could have given it to her last turn, but now he has to pass it through Arthur.
What?
We'll be okay, right? All right!
It'll be Silas's job to pull the other fighter. Like Elise, he has to heal himself. Niles can stand by just to get some free dual strike experience. For his part, Corrin has to run toward Kilma.
Huh?
For Odin to reach level 8, he basically needs 3 more kills plus 2 additional rounds of combat. We'll feed him 1 fighter now, and then on enemy phase, he'll kill the other fighter and battle both mages. He'll get his last kill next turn. The problem is that Odin can't kill this fighter by himself. Luckily, there's exactly 1 character around who provides a magic bonus.
I am Fate's accomplice!
Whoa, whoa!
Someone else can take Felicia and switch to her, allowing her to heal Odin fully. However, this creates another problem. Felicia will have healed Odin 3 times, fought alongside him once, and then stood next to him during combat another 3 times on this coming enemy phase. That's 30 support points. We want Odin to unlock C support with Elise and Niles here, so Elise and Niles are racing Felicia for points, and they both have to finish ahead of her. But as of right now, Odin and Niles have supported each other with dual strikes 3 times, and Odin had 1 additional round of combat while Niles was adjacent. That's worth 28 points total. Niles will fall behind Felicia, so we need to make sure that on our final turn, Odin and Niles earn at least 2 more points together. While I was going over that, Silas covered Felicia's flank. Corrin has to take one more step to the left so that he can carry Silas to Kilma next turn.
I'll protect you.
Because Odin and Elise each earned some guard points separately, their guard gauge fills up just in time to block the last attack.
We stand together!
Odin wants to be adjacent to Niles and not Felicia for this final attack. He's nowhere near strong enough to finish off either mage alone, but if he transfers Elise to Effie, she boosts Effie's strength high enough to kill. So why did we put in all this effort for Odin's sake? Well, he benefits hugely from very small improvements over his base stats, but even in a world where those will never improve, he desperately wants to reach level 10. Malefic Aura is a massive boost for him. There's one more support race we have to track. Elise has supported Niles in combat with dual strikes twice. She has 16 points with him, but she only has 14 points with Effie and 12 with Arthur. The goal is for Effie to finish in second place after Odin, and for Arthur to at least tie with Niles. Since Arthur has a fast support with Elise and Niles does not, Arthur will win the tie for third. So Elise needs one more battle where Effie and Arthur are at least adjacent, Effie gets as many points as Arthur does, and Niles is not involved at all. We maneuvered in a way that lets us achieve exactly that. Felicia healed Silas a moment ago. Since they were adjacent for one battle, that heal is enough to unlock their C support. With his Bronze Lance in hand, Silas enjoys a pretty safe boss kill on enemy phase. The extra point of speed that Corrin grants him with a C support is what allows him to double Kilma. Silas almost reaches level 10, and he finally gets his D in Lances. He's going to whip that D out very quickly in Chapter 9, which is where we're going next. I'll see you there.